DJ Dewey Rock on the track.
Welcome to Immerse Podcast 360. I'm your host, Maserati. We want to thank you for tuning in. No matter where you are in this metaverse world, we're going to continue to bring you the best quality content informally that we know how. We want to thank you guys for tuning in for this lovely Sunday night of Beyond the Game. And do we have a special icon and a standout from your Scrap City Bastrop Rams? This is being brought to you by Involved Social and Civic Club and Kick Thrones of Scrap City, Louisiana. Hey, we have a very special guest. We want to thank you for all the likes, shares, and subscriptions on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. He's in the building. He's the former Bastrop Ram coach, and he's now at Alexandria High School, where he's a Bastrop Ram graduate of 2002, where he was a two-time All-District, All-Northeast Louisiana, and All-State, where he was a member of the 2003 LHSAA All-Star Game. His college career, where he went on to receive a scholarship to University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, where he's a proud alumni, where he got his degree in social work. And while he was there, he was second team All-SWAC his sophomore year. And the rest of his career, y'all, at UAPB, he was all first team SWAC conference, where he was a member of the west side of the championship of the SWAC. He was a receiver of the Remington Award for most outstanding center. He is the 2006 Division I 2AA first team All-American, where he went on to play for the Cincinnati Jungle Cats in Arena 2 football. His coach career consists of 16 years experience, 8 years O-line Bastrop High School, 2015 O-line, where he's still at Alexandria Senior High School. He is currently the present head girls powerlifting coach with a championship already in 2016. I give you none other, the grandson of the legendary Mr. Johnny Pegues. I give you Coach Jackie Skipper. Skip, how you doing today, Coach?
Doing good. How you doing?
It's an honor to have you in on the phone with us today, and just kind of give people a background, of how it was growing up for Skipper in Scrap City.
Well, to give a background, some people know this. I actually grew up in Morehouse. So I grew up in Morehouse on 11th Street, and I used to come to Bastrop a lot on Sugar Hill to my granddaddy's house. And on Sugar Hill in that neighborhood, that's where Adrian Burnett grew up. I grew up down there. Mr. Clarence Hawkins, Mayor Clarence Hawkins was there. And I used to come up to Bastrop all the time. And over there, I grew up. I went to H.V. Adams Elementary. Enjoyed that time. Had a lot of good memories over there.
Right. If we just had Coach Clark on, Chad Clark, and he spoke about the good times in Sugar Hill with the late, great Big Robert Andrews. Kind of tell us about those guys and how they inspired you, the Emmanuel Boys, Marquise, and all those guys over there.
Oh, man. It was great, man. Speaking of the Emmanuel Boys, I think Mr. Emmanuel was good friends with my grandfather. They were principals together at the middle school. It was good growing up with them, man. We looked up to all them guys, Adrian, Rob, Chad, Howard Locke. Man, just going back, looking on that neighborhood, it was legendary, man. All those guys have went on to be successful, man. It was great growing up with them, looking up to them. They all played different sports, went to different colleges, and, man, it was great growing up under them.
Well, we know you had great tutelage with your grandfather and your grandmother, all being educators and well known, but kind of share with us about how it was being at the pinnacle of that Bastrop Ram height when y'all was knocking heads off.
Well, I'm going to go back for you. I think I can remember. I think it was 2000, maybe 2001, 2002. I can always remember Tony Ware being in the stands. And it was a couple of him and the other guys. They would start the little chant, we knocking heads off. And I can still remember when they started that, we had some guys on the team, Jeremiah Larkins, and a couple other guys on defense. I'm missing some names. It was so many of them cats. But they would just run around on defense, man, and they would destroy people. We were known for our defense back then, and on through 2002, 2003. I think 2003 was the first time they went undefeated. I think they went 10-0 for the first time, and ever since then, man, they just kept it rolling all the way till we got to when we came back to coach in 2007.
Most definitely, and it's kind of like everybody that I talked to about the Rams, you guys had a great pride. Not saying that we didn't have it when I was there, but it was a morale and a camaraderie and an atmosphere that was built then. How was it playing up under legendary Coach Bradshaw?
Man, it was great, man. I can tell you like this, like, man, with the coaches we had, with Coach Bradshaw, with Coach Tippett, it was also the seniors, man. I could say that they played a big part into it too. Like my freshman year, like I can name some of the season. It was Ivory Brown, Jeremy Miles, I believe LaRon Sylvester. I think Mario Green played offensive line. He went to Southern. I think those guys played a big part of how we brought up basketball football, taught us how to play football, the grittiness, the grind of basketball football, along with the coaching staff, instilling that in them. I think that's one thing that really, really taught me how to play that brand of football at Bastrop, along with Marcus Yanez. I think he's a 2001 graduate, if I'm not wrong. No, I'm sorry, 2000 graduate. But just also having that coaching staff and having those guys in front of us, the leadership of those teams was big for us.
Right. And Coach, I want to still take us back, during that time when you was at Bastrop High. How was it, you look back on it then and now that you're coaching, what was the difference between your generation and now you're coaching a latter generation? What is the biggest difference you see?
I think from a Bastrop High standpoint, I think it was maybe more accountability on the team and in the school with each other. I think you had certain leaders on the football team, and I think I believe they led everywhere. They led in the classroom, led on the football field. So I think it was just not just the coaches leading, but it was also the players were leading and holding each other accountable, telling them what they should be doing, they shouldn't be doing, things like that. I think that's a big difference now.
In your high school career, what was the height? What was the height that you knew I got a chance of playing at the next level? What game or what year that you had that talent?
Well, I didn't get on the field till my junior year. My freshman year, I played a little linebacker. My sophomore year, I played some tight end, and I learned a lot of stuff from LaVern Sylvester, how to block. Junior year, that's when I first got on the field, played guard. Had a breakout year, man. We were running a whole lot of counter with Coach Tippett, and I would just pull, man, and kick out the end. I started stacking up the pancakes, getting a bunch of knockdowns. That's when I first found out that I might have a chance, to go to the next level.
Right, and and you end up doing that, going on to Arkansas Pine Bluff, where you had an outstanding college career. And when we come back, Coach, we want you to share with us about that HBCU experience and some of the guys from Bastrop that you knew about headed over there, and kind of share with us about how it was over at Arkansas Pine Bluff with the Golden Lions when we return after this intermission. You there, Coach?
Yes, sir. I'm good. Yes, sir.
We'll be right back with Coach Skipper, UAPB standout, Scrap City's own, after this intermission.
Immerse 360 Podcasts focuses on uplifting rural and urban areas and dire conditions with no solutions by shedding light on pioneers, athletes, and political figures who have made an impression on Northeast Louisiana and surrounding areas. Immerse understands the social and civic needs to love, learn, live, and laugh. So tap in every Sunday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. on all social networks and platforms. Always remember, Immerse 360.
I am always dope boy fresh, dope boy. I am dope boy, dope boy fresh. I am dope boy fresh, dope boy fresh, dope boy. I am dope boy, dope boy fresh. I am dope boy getting paid, and I'm like the time boy. I ain't stopping. I'm gonna make the block hot, straight white. I'm straight dropping, straight popping.
Welcome back to Immerse 360. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Bro Inc. Photography, Morehouse Community Development, and Burchell Family Insurance Agency. We're still here with legendary Scrap City standout, UAPB all-SWAC player, and now powerlifting coach and offensive line coach at Alexandria High School, our own coach, Jackie Skipper. Coach, take us back when you was going to UAPB, the Golden Line. Share with us that HBCU experience.
All right, let me start out by telling you, everybody, my grandfather, my grandmother, all four of their kids, everybody went to Southern. So me coming out, went to a lot of Bayou Classics, went to Southern all the time, went to some Grambling games. I naturally wanted to go to Southern. We go on a trip one time with my grandfather, meet Pete Richardson, head coach at the time. He basically tells me, you you too short for us to recruit to play offensive line. So, I ended up getting recruited. I had a guy named A.J. Smith I was friends with. He was playing baseball at UAPB. He ended up telling the guy, the golf coach, another guy, about me. They got some of my film. Next thing I knew, Coach Hartman, the head coach at UAPB, came down to see me, offered me a scholarship to come play. I ended up going to UAPB. Had to sit out my first year. I had to prop 48 because I didn't make the ACT score. I had the GPA, but I didn't make the ACT score. So they had a little program back then where you worked out every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. I go lift weights every day. I'll go run. I just couldn't practice with the team. So it was probably about 20 of us. Out of 20 of us, that next year, 2 of us still made it on the team and ended up playing our senior year at UAPB. And I can say this, man, the black college experience is something that I wish everybody could experience, man. It was like a family. We knew our professors. We saw them every day. We would walk around campus and see them. Even in Pine Bluff, I would say, man, you could just go to the store on a regular basis. You might see your professor at Walmart. You might see him in the mall or somewhere. So it was good. It was good to know that they were there for you to help you in class and out of class, man. Anything you were going through.
Right, and I think that's a lot of what's going on now. A lot of kids never understood exactly what goes on at a HBCU. I think they get caught up in the facilities and things and look and don't recognize that at a HBCU, you're not just a number. You're a family member, but when you go to these bigger schools, you're just a number. And kind of share with us about how the hands-on kind of molded you, Coach, while you were there at HBCU. Explain to the youth about that.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, it was big because when I got there, I got recruited. The guy that recruited me ended up leaving that next year, so we went through a wholesale coach change. I mean, I wouldn't say wholesale. I'll say we had maybe 1 or 2 stay, and we ended up getting some other coaches, man. And I mean, I've never been through anything like that before. The way they talked to us every day. Basically, we had to go in and prove them wrong because we hadn't won in the games. I mean, I think those both years, maybe we went 2-8 and we might have went 3-7. So, we had a lot to prove to those guys. And I could say those coaches ended up being some of the greatest leaders in my life, I would say, ended up influencing me in so many positive ways that it turned me into the man that I am today, And I just think when it comes down to it, man, I know people do look at facilities and things of that nature, but you have to look at the whole athlete. I think sometimes kids don't know if somebody has I guess you could say if they want you to succeed, and they just have to take care of the whole person. I mean, the mental aspect, the physical aspect, the spiritual aspect of a person. Anything we were going through, we could come to those coaches, we could come to those teachers about whatever we were going through, man, and they would really help us and lead us in the right direction because they cared about us.
Right, and with all the stresses and the things that the youth are going through today, being an educator, and you spoke about that, having people there for you. I noticed the comments and wherever you've been and you interacted with the youth, they love you. What is your approach that you have taken that they love Coach Jackie Skipper so much?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, go back to a lot of people have said this, but I know a lot of kids, they really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that's big with me. And Coach Freeman was also there at Bastrop. Me and him, been working together on the offensive line my whole career. And we just like to love and talk to kids and get to know them on a personal level, not just a football level, because we know with us, and that's one thing Coach Bachman is big on down here, it's more than about just football. It's about the whole kid. If he can make this kid end up being a better father, a better son in the end, then he's a better football player. That's his ultimate goal. And now, don't get me wrong, he gonna coach you hard. He gonna be on you for football. But overall, he wants to see that kid develop and be a good citizen in this world.
Right. And Coach, it's different strokes for different folks. And
right.
Like you say, you being such a big guy and masculine guy, but you're humble and your approach is so soft. Where do you, or have you had to in your coach career actually just be more stern and be more brute with some of these youth today?
Yeah. Especially when I had about 3 years ago, I ended up taking a little middle school job down here, and basically it's on the rougher side of town, and if you weren't stern with those kids, they would run over you, they would cuss you out, they would push your buttons, they'd say this to you, they'll do exactly what they want to. So if you didn't put your foot down and let them know that you meant business, they'll run over you. But at the same time, I think with that also, you always got to come back in the end. Even if it's not that day, later on that week, later on that month, you got to also go back and patch that kid up, let them know what you were doing, that you weren't just trying to tear them down. It was constructive criticism. You got to bring that kid back up and not leave them at a low place.
Right. And like you go back to what you said earlier about the complete athlete and child. You're nurturing and you're tutelage. You're giving tutelage to the whole child, not just X's and O's in sports and things of that nature. But Coach, you had a transformation with yourself. You told me you used to be 300 and something pounds, and now you look like a baby Hulk. What inspired you to take on that, Coach?
Okay. Back in 2010, when I was having my first daughter, they put me out the room for my wife to get the epidural. So I'm walking around the hospital, walk down the hallway, and they had a big scale with the handles on it. So I step on the scale. I'll never forget. I looked at the scale. It said 350. I was like, dog, I didn't know I gained that much weight. When I played ball, I was about 310, 315. So a little while after my daughter was born, ended up having a few health issues. Just wasn't feeling too good. Go to the doctor. Cholesterol was high. Blood was high. So after I got all that, I ended up doing a little low carb diet. Lost a little weight, and I can say now, it's been a number of years now working on it. Now I'm about 120 pounds down. I'm about 230, 230 now.
So Coach, was what type of diet, because people need this understanding, they need this wisdom, they need this understanding more than not about the health issues. Coach, kind of guide us on the steps and the routine and the regimen that you took on to get to this point.
Okay. To break it down, I'm big into intermittent fasting. So right now, I fast at least 20 hours a day. I have a 4-hour window when I eat. So, so I'll tell you like this, a typical meal for me is going to be, I prioritize protein. So I would say at least 80% of my food is going to be protein, whether it's coming from protein shake, whether it's coming from steak or beef or chicken. I eat a lot of tuna. Things like that. And the other 10% is going to be carbohydrate. The other 10% is going to be fats. Most of the time when you're eating beef and different cuts of steak like ribeye, it's going to be a lot more fat. So if you're consuming a lot more fat, I say you should drop your carbohydrate even more. And what I mean by carbohydrates is your rice, your pasta, your anything, potatoes, anything like that. I stopped the snacking as much as I could. I recently really locked back in, so it's no chips. I don't drink calories, so I'm not going to drink any sodas, any juices, or anything like that because of in the African American community, we struggle with diabetes a lot, and I think that's because of sugar consumption and things like that. I think we can beat some of those generational things if we would just take better care of our bodies, choosing better things to eat, exercising a little more, moving a little more. Because ever since, also when I was in high school, I powerlifted. So I've always liked lifting weights. I love lifting weights. And that's kind of one thing I never stopped doing was lifting weights. So I got really bulky, but my diet was never on point. So once I added the diet, and I stopped eating as much and started kind of counting my calories, counting my fats. I ended up, losing the weight. And, I'm in the process of keeping it off right now.
Most definitely, Coach. And that's a goal and a feat that a lot of people have a struggle with trying to conquer. But I noticed that, like you mentioned about the powerlifting, you started doing that as a little side hobby. But now you're the powerlifting coach at Alexandria Senior High School. How are you keeping your girls on a proper diet and so they'll get the full potential out of being a power lifter?
It's an everyday struggle. I can tell you a little bit about powerlifting if you don't know. We have weight classes. So every year, in the off season, all my girls, we weigh in. We talk about what weight class they're going to be in. And this and that, and no matter how, every year, no matter what, we have a couple people that's going to have to cut some weight to make this weight class. And I always get on them about eating right throughout the year so you won't have to cut so much weight toward the end of the year. So it's a struggle with them, always talking to them about that, about eating, about drinking the right things, taking care of their body, getting enough rest, because that's what a lot of high school kids don't understand, that being able to recover and things like that, you have to get a lot of sleep, enough sleep. They stay up all night playing games and talking on the phone and don't get enough rest, and it's gonna end up messing up everything. The weight loss, the recovery, the muscle building, they won't get as strong as they can. So it's just an everyday process of talking to them about that and holding them accountable for that.
Right. And, Coach, we all know your grandfather, and he was a phenomenal man. It's only two principals in my grade school career, K through 12, that had to paddle me one time to know that I didn't need to go back that year. And your grandfather, Mr. Pegues, was one of them. Mr. Billy Raven was the other one. Share with us about the legacy of your grandfather. We know he was a state champion coach over in Orion, OC Orion High School in Denton, and then he was a state champion football coach in 1962 at Notre Dame High School. But share with us about living in the legacy of Mr. Johnny Pegues.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take you back to the beginning. My grandfather went to Southern University. He played guard at Southern. I think, but from 58 through 60. He ended up graduating, moved to Chicago with my grandmother. They got married in Chicago. That's when they moved back to Shreveport, and he started coaching the girls basketball, and he started coaching at Notre Dame, I think, and that was maybe 1963. In 1965, that's when they came to Bastrop, and he started coaching over there in Morehouse, at All Black Morehouse. He coached over there for a number of years. They did good. Oh, well, let me go back to Notre Dame. He won in the girls basketball in his first year. He won a state championship with those girls. At Notre Dame, also, I think it was in 1963, he won a state championship with them coaching football at Notre Dame. 65, he came to Bastrop, to Morehouse, coached at Morehouse for a number of years. I think in 71, that's when he went to Bastrop. And it was him and three other coaches, I think Stan Johnson and Frank Zamito, I think.
Right.
I think there were other coaches in 71. And he stayed there for a while. He was the head track coach. He was the football coach. Eventually later he retired from coaching. He was a principal at the middle school for a number of years with Mr. Emmanuel. And man, it was just great, man. He was the one first taught me how to play football, how to be violent in the game of football, what it meant to play football. Started playing Pee Wee when I was in the 6th grade. I played for the Bears. He taught me how to block. Man, taught me everything I knew about football, man. And it's kind of crazy. Like, out of everybody in the family, I'm the only one, out of the grandkids, his sons and everybody, I'm the only one that played football. The only one that kind of followed in his steps. And that's one reason I really wanted to go to Southern. I really wanted to follow in his steps. When I was in high school, I wore the same number he did. I wore number 62 because I wanted to be just like my grandfather. And it was great, man. So I could say after I went on to school and, I got these accolades in high school and college, but one of the greatest things was when I came back, when Coach Bradshaw called me back to coach. He was trying to get us some people together. My granddad was like, come on back, give it a try. And so in 2007, man, we won that state championship, man. That was one of the greatest things to see my granddaddy see me win the state championship, and how proud he was of me, man, and everything was going on. And, we won, I'm not sure the date. It was, maybe the first week in December. And, man, the day after Christmas in 2007, my grandfather passed right after that. And, I still reflect back on that and how great that was to come back, because I really wasn't sure about coming to Bastrop, and talking to him. And it just seemed like, man, it just worked out to be the right thing for me to do and, to follow in his footsteps.
Right. Like I say, Mr. Pegues, his name has been brought up several times on different episodes when different guests have spoken about Mr. Pegues. So great. Share with us some of those conversations you had with him prior to him passing, and you was in the Arena 2 football league.
Man, I can go back. Listen, I can go back to let me tell you about a story when I was in the 6th grade. Granddaddy was a principal, so he had a powder at home. I'll never forget. I was in the acting up at HB Adams. My granddaddy came up there to the school, man, and patted me in the classroom in front of the whole class. That humbled me, and I don't think I ever got in trouble again all the way through the 12th grade. him knowing Mr. Washington, all those folks, discipline wasn't going to be an issue for me. I listened to everything he said. If my granddaddy said it, I believe it, no matter what, man. Growing up, man, he used to take me hunting and things like that. And I think that's a lot of times when we would have some good conversations, he would just talk to me about life and just things I should do in life and I shouldn't do. He was a big believer in Christ, you know. So he instilled that in me early too. You know, going to church. He was a deacon. So I think that was very important for what I'm doing now. I'm in the process now, me becoming a deacon. So I can still see where I'm still following in the footsteps of what he did in my life and the values he instilled in me.
Right, and that's why we want to have you on, Coach Skipper, not only to honor you and give you your flowers, but we wanted to give Mr. Pegues his flowers. A lot of people, a lot of his students, we were out of town or off doing our thing when he passed away and didn't get a chance to say goodbye. But this is class of 95. This is our way of saying thanks to Mr. Pegues and the whole Pegues family for the many lives that he touched here in Scrap City during our tenure in grade school.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, you know, Coach, we're going to take another intermission. When we come back, we want to get your final thoughts on how you felt about the departure from coaching at Bastrop and leaving, and the things that you hear about Bastrop. What are some of the solutions you have and ways that you are still staying active and possibly could help Scrap City get back to the pinnacle in the prime that they once were when we come back from this intermission? We'll be right back with Coach Jackie Skipper, Scrap City standout, Alexandria Senior High School powerlifting girls coach, when we return after this intermission.
Shooters on my team, I consider them well. Y'all stay softer than the baby ass, so we can do this the hard way. I'm a hustle, hard count cash. I am always dope boy fresh, dope boy. I am dope boy, dope boy fresh. I am dope boy fresh, dope boy fresh, dope boy. I am dope boy fresh. I am dope boy. Getting paid and I'm like the time, boy. I ain't stopping. I'm gonna make the block hot, straight white. I'm straight dropping, straight popping shit off. You know I gotta get my cake up. Waiting on me to fall, y'all little boys better wake up. Dropping racks in my stash and I'm laughing at y'all. Haters can't name a nigga more major. In my state we a razor, deeper than the Pacific. But my pockets look like whales up in them corners. I'ma beat them, getting to my pay. Lifting weight, young hustling, living great. State to state, I done ate.
Welcome back to Emerge 360. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Stardom Networks of Facebook and your own Bro Inc. Photography. Shout out to Kawan Whaley and Restoration of Hope, Robinson Williams Community Activity Center here in Scrap City. We're still here with Coach Jackie Skipper with the final thoughts. Coach, we know you hear what's going on with your beloved city. You were once here coaching, and you end up leaving with Coach Bachman, a former head coach. How has that been going, and how would you like to see Bastrop turn it all around?
Well, you know, since we came down here, it was in 2015 was our first year. You know, and I'm gonna tell you like this: in Central Louisiana, you know, it's not known for football much at all. You know, so man, to come down here, to come into this program, man, to see the work, everything we put in, you know, Coach Bachman came down here, changed so many things, changed the, I mean, man, from the top to the bottom, everything about this school, everything about Alexandria Senior High, he's put his heart and soul into it, you know what I'm saying? And I can say, he got to see that in 2020 when we went to the state championship in 5A. I want to go back to say, like, when we were at Bastrop, you can almost feel and see the same thing happening. We were on the brink of something great right before we left. I believe when we left, I think it was Travion Burst, Jerry Powell. Those guys were going to be seniors. I think it was like 20 seniors we left that year. Everything. I really thought that year everything was moving in the right direction. And till this day, I'm not sure actually what happened. But I know he ended up saying that he was leaving, and it ended up being almost the whole coaching staff just about. I twisted and turned and fought with that decision. Whether I was gonna come to Alexandria, I ended up coming, late that summer to coach, and eventually we came down here and got things turned around. I just think people need to know that it takes years. It took us 5 years to get the program turned around and going in the right direction. And that took patience from the coaches, that took hard work from the coaches, that took patience from the community. And so, that's one thing I think that Bastrop is lacking right now is, patience as far as the kids or what they're doing. Because I really don't doubt that they are working hard, that the coaches are working hard. I'm not sure, but I know it's a lot of kids that have left Bastrop. And not just the kids, but even I think that the parents have moved and left and I guess, moved to better situations. And I just think, man, that if everyone would buy in and who's ever in the driver's seat, I believe is Tank. Tank has the job now. I think if everybody would just rally behind him, rally behind the kids, no matter what is going on, that they would get Bastrop in the right spot and moving in the right direction. It can't be about somebody not making it about the kids. It always has to be about the kids. If the kids don't come first, it's not going to work. So I think Bastrop has to fight for the kids, do things for the kids, put the kids first, and I think everything will work out.
Right, and it's like I said, Coach, it's been a great honor to have you here and talk to you. Hadn't really seen you since you left. Didn't understand why you guys, Coach Cooper, you guys, Coach Free, why you guys just up and left like that. But now that I talk to you, I kind of understand about the politics here in Bastrop. But I just want you to know, Coach, that we're proud of you. I'm so super proud of your transformation that you made and took up on yourself, that you want to live for your family and your future. And congratulations on your regional powerlifting championship this year with your girls once again in 2023. You're doing a great job. And any last words before we let you go, Coach, because you mean so much to us and they love you. And any last things you'd like to tell your Scrap City loved ones?
Man, I just want to tell you thank you, man. I listen every week. I enjoy everybody you have on, man. I just appreciate you for the positive things you're doing for Bastrop, man, reaching out to people, talking to people. Man, I think it's just good that you shedding light on people like you're doing for my grandfather, man. I really think he's like an unsung hero. A lot of if you didn't coach him, if he didn't coach you, some people might not know him. I thank God that I was kind of in between. I knew him. I knew some of those older guys that played football. And I just think you're keeping a lot of things relevant in Bastrop. You know what I'm saying? Things that people are forgetting about. I think that's one thing that's going to help Bastrop come out of the drought that they're in. Remembering how Bastrop was, how fun it was, how vigilant Bastrop used to be. And I just pray one day it can get back to that, man. And I think this is one thing that can help that. You doing this, man. So I want to say thank you for everything you're doing.
Hey, we appreciate you, Coach, and I thank you for those kind words, man. But it's not about me. It's all about shedding light and changing the narrative and showing the world that the rest of the United States sit on the shoulders of Morehouse Parish and Scrap City and coaching. We wish you the best on all your endeavors, and you tell Coach Bachman that Coach Odom said, what's up, man, and you guys, maybe we'll do some camps or something this summer with the kids, and you guys come back and show your face because they miss you guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Much love, Coach. You'll stay safe. Hey, I'm your host, Maserati. This has been brought to you by Stardom Networks, Yo Looking Ass Entertainment, Miss Sequisa Givens, Above Average Healthcare, and your own Stepping Stones of Jonesboro, Louisiana. Hey, we want to thank you once again for tuning in for this Beyond the Game. This has been brought to you by Involved Social and Civic Club, where we understand the social and civic needs of love, learn, live, and laugh. Until next time, y'all get involved. Y'all stay encouraged. And most of all, y'all stay immersed. We out of this time.
Celebrity, bitch, you ain't a hustler, you would never be. Supermodel with me, got more curve than the letter B. Capital, no Nelly, but a bottom like a apple. Okay. Trapper hoe, I attract more hoes than the capper hoe. Shooters on my bill, don't get caught up in my raps, so no. Flipper bullets, hit you like a fucking linebacker. Okay. Knock your fucking helmet off for playing with my folks. It's more dollars over here and up there. I am show, chasing G5. I just wanna fly as I smoke. On a ride, I am hot air balloon. Why go broke? I go get it. The hottest in my city. Who fucking with me? Nobody. Young Louisiana did it. I NBA ball with something that will take your face off. Nicholas Cage, alright. The money, the murder, the homicide, the lobster steak on my plate. This is the life. Find the money to the sky. Fuck every day. We play hard. We in the game. Bitches get